Most listeners of this podcast are men, and this video is especially helpful for men. However, women can also listen to analyze and study these valuable ideas to better themselves in the future. These aren't just lessons, they reflect realities in our society. I am going to present the 10 most important lessons from the character Zhuge Liang that we can follow to transform ourselves for the better. So let's not waste any more time, let's get straight to those lessons. Lesson 1. Prioritize your health above all else. This was Zhuge Liang's main weakness during his war with the Wei Kingdom. His illness was the result of working beyond his limits, getting insufficient rest, and carrying too much stress in his heart. Zhuge Liang died alone, leading the Shu army to retreat, even before the war was fully concluded. In this video, I will share my personal experiences. I know most of you listening are around 30 to 40 years old, that age where none of us really believe we're old yet. We think we have the same strength as we did 5 or 10 years ago. But whether we believe it or not, the facts remain. Our bodies are steadily declining over time. If we accept this truth sooner, we'll find ways to protect ourselves and avoid getting sick unnecessarily. I believe in this era, avoiding sickness or new illnesses isn't easy, but it's possible to delay them. We should at least try to slow them down. Myself, I am not the best at giving health advice, but I realize we should care for our own health before worrying about other things. Overworking, lack of rest, and feeling too much sadness can kill us one day. Not necessarily today or this month, but someday during our lives. Look at Zhuge Liang. As an example, he died and everything failed because of his passing. We should also remember the principle Sima Yi always said to Zhuge Liang, "Sleep little, work a lot, life will not be long." This saying is very true, and sometimes by the time we realize it's true, it's already too late to change and protect ourselves. When the human body is too weak and fragile, no doctor can fix it. Look at Cao Pi and Cao Rui, both had short lives because of poor health. No matter how ambitious we are, it will be pointless if we don't live long enough to fulfill those ambitions. The main takeaway from this first lesson is that we must do the opposite of Zhuge Liang so our future isn't like his. With good health, our future can be prosperous, but we have to practice these lessons, which I will share with you.
Lesson 2. Become someone who can learn independently. Not being able to study and learn on your own, especially in an environment with ample resources, lessons, and tools, is a major obstacle for personal development. Although Zhuge Liang had teachers, he was the kind of person who loved self-study and independent learning. He traveled and learned about the kingdoms, war histories, and rulers on his own, personally visiting various territories and mapping the land himself. Learning independently doesn't mean never asking anyone for help. Seeking advice is still part of self-learning. What's most important is that you choose to learn without anyone forcing you or telling you what to study. You manage your own path and learning goals. People who learn on their own gain 3 key advantages. 1. You can learn anytime you wish, as much as you want, and understand what you've gained with clarity. Plus, you control the pace of your learning. 2. You become more self-reliant instead of depending on others. Any problem, you can more easily find a solution, and you'll learn from your mistakes and correct them yourself. If you only learn from a teacher, they may only show you what's right, not everything you could explore. 3. Others won't know everything you've mastered. Self-learning is ideal for those who value privacy and independence, just like Zhuge Liang, who mastered unique strategies that no one else knew, becoming renowned in history for his remarkable war abilities. By adopting self-learning, you build skills that are both powerful and deeply personal, enabling you to solve problems creatively and become resilient in any challenge.
Lesson 3. Be prepared for change at all times. Zhuge Liang's greatest strength was his ability to think ahead, but just as important, he always made preparations after thinking things through. We can follow his example. Always be ready for any change that might happen at any time. Only those who prepare in advance can adapt quickly when the moment comes. For example, when Cao Cao raised an army to attack Liu Bei at Xinye, Zhuge Liang had already predicted that Liu Bei would not dare accept Jingzhou from Liu Bao, even if Liu Bao willingly offered it. As a result, Zhuge Liang made backup plans to resist Cao Cao's forces. He prepared supplies and troops 5 days before Liu Bei even went to meet Liu Bao. The reason he prepared so thoroughly was because he knew Cao Cao favored quick warfare and wanted to seize Jingzhou rapidly. Let me share a real-life example. If you are a man who isn't married but intends to start a family someday and wants to be a father and a family leader, you should be planning and preparing now. You should also prepare for hard times. When struggles come, who will truly help you? No one can predict the future, but being ready can ease your worries about what's to come. When I was single, I listened to podcasts and lessons about managing a family, then chose to learn money-making skills, thinking ahead to a time when family demands would be greater than they are now. I once heard people say, anything a man can do, a woman can do too. But real life isn't always like that. As men, we should have even more solid plans and preparations. Even if women can earn a lot, they often still rely on us, just as daughters rely on their fathers and sisters rely on brothers. That's why being well prepared can increase your chances of success in whatever you pursue, be it business, career, or family life.
Lesson 4. Always plan several steps ahead. Before Zhuge Liang descended from the mountain to serve Liu Bei, he prepared 3 possible plans for Liu Bei to conquer the kingdom. Zhuge Liang thought at least 3 steps ahead to avoid reaching a dead end where there would be no way forward. This approach made Zhuge Liang superior to Sima Yi, who tended to think more slowly, focusing on one careful step at a time and often lacking long-term vision. Because Sima Yi only planned for the next immediate action, he sometimes encountered critical obstacles and had to seek help from others. When you create a plan, you should think long-term. Consider where your decisions will lead in 3 or 5 years. Zhuge Liang's Longzhong plan is a perfect example. He developed a vision that, if successful, would have unified the land and the kingdoms within 20 years. In reality, his plans were sometimes thwarted, primarily by internal factors like Liu Bei's trust and political challenges from people like Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, which often led to unresolved problems. Likewise, Zhou Yu, who served Sun Quan, also didn't make long-term plans, usually thinking and acting only step by step. This is why both he and Sima Yi often played catch-up with Zhuge Liang, not because they weren't talented, but because their strategies lacked forward vision. Another master of long-term, multi-step planning was Zun Yu, who served Cao Cao. He foresaw that keeping the Han dynasty nominally alive gave legitimacy and stability to their regime, so he planned accordingly and influenced key succession events, such as helping Cao Pi secure the throne. When you make multi-step plans, it gives you hope and clarity, because you can see how far you are from your goals and which steps remain. Just like Zhuge Liang, planning several moves ahead increases your chances of achieving lasting success in any area, be it business, career, or family life.
Lesson 5. Never completely miss an opportunity. We must be the kind of person who knows how to seize opportunities firmly. When an opportunity arises, we should take it and act on it, rather than hesitating or letting it slip by. This is unlike Liu Bei and Liu Biao, who
who refused Jingzhou and ended up having to flee to Xinye with their people, missing a good opportunity that could have led to great results. Zhuge Liang later regretted this lost chance by Liu Bei, though he never blamed him because ultimately Liu Bei was the decision-maker. If, at that time, Zhuge Liang had the authority, he would have accepted Jingzhou and rallied troops to fight back against Cao Cao's advancing forces. A Canadian historian named Creighton Kay called this episode one of history's finest tales of missed opportunity, and this perfectly matches the recurring theme of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, in which characters frequently place opportunities right at their own doorstep only to neglect them. Lu Bu missed his chance by not sending troops in time to intercept Cao Cao. Cao Cao himself failed to eliminate Liu Bei when he had the chance at Suchong. We can never truly gauge the cost of lost opportunities. For example, if you have a chance to ask for a raise but are distracted by the saying, "work hard without thinking about your salary," you might miss out because you didn't advocate for yourself. Raises are always available for top-performing employees, so if you're doing well, you should be prepared to ask and accept rewards when they arise. If you don't, you could lose out on great opportunities. The willingness to seize opportunities is a key trait for anyone who doesn't want to miss out.